Hey, whoa. Michaela. This one's going to be fucking great. I'm going to address this one real quick because I had a good laugh at this one. So, apparently, you can have steel toe derangement syndrome so bad. Now, I think a big part of steel toe derangement syndrome is when you live vicariously through steel toe. It's remarkably unhealthy, but if it's all the circles you run in, you don't notice you have it. That's one thing we've learned from researching this disease. Now, if you go and you watch a live stream of a boxing class because you need Aaron content so bad, I got bad news, guys. You got it real bad. So yesterday, I talked to Scott, and I talked to Scott about the appeal thing, which I'm guessing I've talked to the Safe Sport people. I'm guessing we should have it done in a couple of weeks. It's going to be cutting it real close to that February 22nd thing, but it sounds like the whole thing, we got it. What I'm really hoping we can do is get a temporary lifting of it while it's being investigated, while they call everybody who wrote letters on my behalf. Because at the end of this rainbow is the whole thing gets lifted, we're good, we can go again. But it's like, it's annoying because it's like dealing with the government. So I'm talking with Scott yesterday, and Scott goes, God damn it, man. He goes, kind of fucked us here. I'm like, well, no shit, I want to get it removed. He's like, all right, I'll make some calls, you make some calls. So we start making some calls, and they're like, I swear we're going as fast as we can. So then I called Scott later in the day, and I'm like, Scott, I can't, like, work up a sweat or, like, elevate my heart rate without my fucking lungs acting up and me coughing my balls off. Not going to be working out today. He goes, that's all right. He said, that might help us. He said, while this whole thing is being looked into, if you're sick anyway, he goes, just stay home. Don't come to anything. And maybe it makes the whole process work faster. I'm like, fuck it. Okay. Because he's dealt with this before. He's had like 3 guys go through this same thing. And he said at the end of the thing, it always gets overturned. They just got to do, as he says, due diligence. So yesterday, Scott is giving one of his patented, like, fucking fire up pre-practice speeches. We've all been yelled at in a pre-practice Scott speech. So in this one, Doom clipped it. And I'm like, oh boy, this must be really bad. And I watched the speech and I'm like, this is nothing. I'm like, I was a little disappointed because usually when people clip something, they got something, especially Doom. And I watched this one and I'm like, this is a nothing burger. That's my boy Scott. Fired up as fuck before a practice. And he goes, Aaron really fucked us. And I'm like, yep, that's Scott and I literally had that conversation that day. People were getting fired up. They're like, this is it. This is the thing we finally got. And I watched it with all these expectations. And I'm like, that's it? That's the best you guys got? So it turned into part of my research for steel toe derangement syndrome. Scott was fired up before practice. Scott and I talk every day, and we'll talk again today. I didn't think it could be more of a nothing burger. But then I realized, if you've got steel toe derangement syndrome, you just watch shit differently. But then also a lot of these guys, I think, with steel toe derangement syndrome don't have dads. Like they don't have a lot of male interaction, and they don't have a lot of that fire up. And a lot of them probably didn't do a lot of sports stuff. Like yelling and screaming and vitriol and passion and all that, that's all part of the deal. You know? That's just all part of the deal. So it wasn't supposed to be steel toe derangement syndrome research, but it did turn into steel toe derangement syndrome research. I have to let you know, no matter how much you think you're just doing this for fun, you're watching a live stream of a small town's boxing practice because you need more Aaron. You have an affliction. We've diagnosed it. It's steel toe derangement syndrome. Now you can work on treating yourself. Or you can get to full-blown AIDS, which is Aaron Imholt derangement syndrome. So, video doesn't really change anything. Talk to Scott again today. As soon as this process is over, I can get back to work, and I'm really excited. Still go to the gym. I can still get my work in. I can still train and do all that stuff. It's just, come on. Let's get this shit done. We know what the end of this is. Let's just get to that part. The only thing is when they call you, you can't be like that. When they call me, I'm very yes, sir, no, sir, this and that. You can't be like, hey, come on, let's fucking go, I believe in the business, they call it playing the game. So that's the latest update. It did turn into Steel Toe Derangement Syndrome research. Thank you guys, by the way, so much for your contributions. As you can see, that fucking Steel Toe Derangement Syndrome research board is full of heavy hitters. The Chad Buzamok Top Toe Nations board, numero uno Josh Denny fan, with 371. Adam Simon with 297. Flinty Gecko with 270. And Gray Duckling at 155. It is Rumble Link Friday. $5 for a link. $10 gets to the front of the line. $20, we go full. So many announcements today. The other one is, so we did our Steel Toe Derangement Syndrome research, a giant nothing burger unboxing. And then after that, we have the YouTube thing. This was the thing where I was like, hey, this should be the big thing. If you have Steel Toe Derangement Syndrome, this should be the big thing. Why isn't this? I mean, I'm better at hating Steel Toe than Steel Toe haters are at hating Steel Toe. Yeah, I think I think it's pretty bad. I think in our research we've done this week, people are losing their minds over the toe. And again, I get it. You didn't have a lot of male contact growing up. I understand this kind of stuff. You get a little too excited. I'm not mad at you. Like, I don't fault you at all. I kind of, now that I've researched your affliction, I understand. And I understand that bullying people with diseases is not, it's not good. Balls Deep says Jordana and NLO are identical. No, in fairness to Elisa Jordana, she keeps herself in pretty good shape. She's not, her inside doesn't get projected out to her outside. I don't see Elisa Jordana with awful fucking face sores. So there is that. Jack Cat with $5. Oh my God, Jack Cat, you are losing it. Losing it. They're losing their minds. Balls Deep says all fatherless. Yeah, I think a lot of it's fatherlessness. I think that's a big part of it. They'll be all right. They'll get over it. They need their dad. They need Steel Toe. I think that's part of Steel Toe Derangement Syndrome. I think there's a little bit of a daddy complex in there. What I don't understand is why don't they understand counter trolling? Like when I do this and I smile at them and I talk shit to them, they go in a chat and they go, you piece of shit, you're a garbage human being. Dude, I'm just fucking with you. Like it's really super light teasing and saying you have a disease that, by the way, doesn't exist. This is the funniest part about these people. You can tell them exactly what you're doing. Somebody tweeted this at me yesterday. They're like, you know what's amazing is you trigger the fuck out of these people. Meanwhile, you tell them exactly what you're doing while you're doing it. It's easy money, man. It's really easy money.
Hit the follow button. Hit the like button.
Pardon me. Would you have any...
Fuck you, Doom.
But of course.
We are doomed. Doomed as a civilization.
There is no victor. There is only doom.